Hello guys, welcome to your first HTML lesson. Today I'm just going to show you some of the basics of HTML and how we should get started. To start off, please open Notepad if you're on Windows 7 or a comparable text editor. For this first lesson I am going to be using Notepad, but in the next lessons I will be using Notepad++ because it's color-coded and everyone likes color-coded because it's easier to read things. All web pages are written with HTML. HTML lets you format text, add graphics, sound, and video, and save it all to a text-only file that any computer can read. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. We're going to be using a straight Notepad document because there's many software programs out there that will create the HTML code for you, but I don't want you guys to be held back by a particular program's features. Dreamweaver is very popular. It's good. It's a good program. However, some people do not know HTML because of it. There are many who do, but there are some who don't. So, don't be limited by your software. Know HTML first. Alright, now that that's done, let's start coding. Alright guys, so in HTML, you can create this with, we're going to be using tags, and some of these tags have attributes. Let me show you a basic tag, an HTML tag. At the beginning of each and every HTML document is the opening HTML tag, and the closing HTML tag is almost written the exact same, except it has this slash. See, I can write HTML in all capital letters, but I can also write it in all lowercase letters. Because this language, HTML, is not typed very strictly, these, the HTML here, and this are the same thing. It reads the same and it is the same. So, let's just do a simple HTML document. In each HTML document, we're not going to be using these yet, but there's a head, a body, which we already have, and then a footer. If you notice, we will mainly be using the body tags for now. So I'm just going to put some space in here and open these brackets up. So to begin, let's put a little bit of text. And then we'll save it, and then we'll open it up in our browser. So let's put a header being more bold in font than regular text. H1, it goes up in size. We'll show you the size difference. I've been on an Animaniacs kick. I've actually also been on a Tom and Jerry kick. So let's make a website devoted to them. And we'll show you how to do different font and just have some fun with this. Now, what P stands for, it stands for paragraph. H1 stands for header 1, which changes in size, and we'll put a little text between these paragraphs. And we can say, Tom and Jerry is an awesome TV show that has spanned many people's childhoods. Whew. Alright, child and hood really did combine into a new word for a second there. Now if you notice this is in between a paragraph tag, I can actually still type here. And it will still show up. Now here's a confusing thing for some people. They don't understand how this Notepad document can become a browser, how it can become a web page, something like this. What we're going to do is we're going to File, Save As, and we're going to go to a certain place in our documents. You can put it in your desktop in a folder called HTML lessons or whatever you would prefer. I'm going to put mine in Developers Club lessons because that's where all of your lessons are, guys, in the HTML file, and I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it indexed. Now, you have two different extensions that you can use to save your file in order for it to be read as a web page. You can name it .html or .htm. Both are the same. Both will convert this file to work with your browser. Either way, save it with .htm or .html. I'm going to use .html out of habit. Maybe as we get along and we're creating more files, you'll see me label it .htm just to save time. But for now, I'm going to save it as .html and then save. And you can see over here that is pulled up inside of this window right here. I'm going to double click and launch it, and there you have it. It's very basic, but it is a HTML file that says that has the font. The text that we've written. And you see how this still pulls up even though it's outside the paragraph tags. What the paragraph tags do is an automatic line break. What that means is, you see how these are on two different lines? If these paragraph tags weren't here, save, I save it, and then I can hit refresh, and it's on the same line. But for neatness' sake, I'm just going to add that like that and delete it. Because when you're working on a large file, you just don't want text kind of floating around. You want to know where it belongs. And when you know your own code, it feels comfortable to see maybe text floating outside of this paragraph. But if people are working with you, then you might want to make your code really neat. Speaking of making your code neat, something is called white space. White space is these spaces right here that have no font, no text on them. What this means is this is all for our readability. When the program is used, it removes this white space, or that it just ignores it, so that I can put as many enters and I can put as many line breaks as I want and save it by hitting Control S and refresh it, and it still looks the very same. Well, except for the fact that I did remove that text down there. But there's not all these enter signs. What this means is that the browser is only going to recognize the HTML. So we can use this white space in order to format our document and make it look as neat as we can, so that it's very readable for people who are working with us, or if we come back to this project later in time and we don't remember quite what we were working on, it's very easy to read it. Alright. Let's say this time that I'm editing this, okay? This is a new edit to my document. My keyboard is actually perched on my lap, so every time I go to type, it kind of moves around, so it's kind of fun to type like that. Anyway, let's say I save as, and then I save it to my desktop, and I hit save, just so it's there. What would happen is, if I ran this again, it wouldn't show that I had a new edit. I would actually have to open the file by hitting Control O and opening it where the new place is. Reason being is the browser is still loading this file that we have in our Developers Club lessons, our original location. It's not loading this index file, which I have here. So what this means is that when you change your file, you need to open it up again so that your browser is loading the right file. I can't tell you how many times I'd made that mistake. I'd make edits and then I'd be like, oh no, why isn't my edit showing up? I must be doing something wrong. I wasn't. I was just loading my document from the wrong place. So let's reload this, and there we go. I'll go ahead and delete this index because I don't need it. It's not what I'm actually working on. Alright. So, just so you guys can review, remember that this text editor saves your file. Alright? And so I'm actually going to save this. So there's some downloadable code on this lesson, just in case you guys get confused and you want to look at the actual code and things like that. So Good luck, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson.